welcome to Pilates with Kels. I had a request for a tower class. So of course you can use the twin mats and make this into a full tower, but today I'm going to do a class with the reformer and the tower combined. This is one of my favorite ways to use the tower, so I hope you enjoy it as well. So I'm going to get started by setting up my carriage and my tower for footwork. So I'm going to have my carriage on 3 red springs. So 3 red springs on that, and that's about 3 medium springs if you're on a different machine. For my tower, I'm going to use my long springs. Now I have purple and yellow long springs on my machine. The purple ones are a little heavier. I'm going to use the lighter springs just because it's a little nicer for me. So I've got the yellow springs, the long ones with the loops on the ends, and I have those at about shoulder height. So once you have that set up, I like to grab my springs before I lie down. It just makes it a lot easier to get into. So I'm going to grab these in one hand, and I'm going to go ahead and lie down on my carriage. And you will take your legs through these loops so that they come all the way over the knees, above the knees. And you're going to feel that spring giving you a nice pull back and scooch down away from those shoulder blocks. I like my headrest up for my footwork, so I'm just going to make that adjustment. And we're going to start with the heels on the bar. So it's going to be hip distance apart, tailbone is heavy, neutral pelvis and spine. So it's going to feel like those springs are really pulling you back. I want you to think about anchoring those heels down onto the carriage. Take a deep breath in, exhale, extend the carriage, unfolding the knee. Inhale, bend those knees to come right back in. So it's going to be an exhale to press and an inhale to bend. Now as you press out, I want you to really think about pressing down and into those springs. So you're going to feel less work from the carriage and more work from the springs doing footwork this way. So just taking some nice deep exhales as you extend. Just a few more here. Getting warmed up and getting used to those springs. And then let's come in and we'll go to the balls of the feet. So having those toes on the bar, deep breath in, exhale, extend it out. Inhale, bend those knees in. And again, really feeling that connection as you press down into those springs on that full extension. Again, that's where all of that work is coming from here. A few more like this. Let's take this one out and hold. We'll lower those heels down and lift them up. Lower and lift. Again, really pushing down into those springs with the legs. We'll go for 4, 3, 2, lift the heels, bend the knees, the carriage comes in. We send the left leg over the bar, press out the right leg, bring the left leg to tabletop, come in and send that left leg over the bar. So now you're getting that work on the right leg. The left leg's going to feel a little different as it's working into those abdominals a little bit with that spring on. We'll go for 3, 2, lifting that heel as you come in for 1, and we'll switch sides. So now we've got that left foot on, right leg over, press out, come to tabletop, come in and send it over the bar. Should feel those legs warming up by now. Keeping a nice strong core. Really pushing down into those springs. Just for 3, 2, bring this next one in. We'll take both feet on the bar and that Pilates V position. Hands are high. Press out, zip the inner thighs, bend the knees as you come in. Press and zip, bend to come in. Those knees are coming about as wide as your shoulders as that carriage comes in. Just for 3, 2, last one in, and now we do that same thing in single leg, so I'll send that left leg over the bar. Again, I'm pushing down into that spring, press out that leg, comes to tabletop, come in and over the bar. Press and extend. Pushing down into both springs. So you're really getting that work. Last 3, 2, 1. We'll switch sides. Left foot on, right leg up. We'll start over. We press out to tabletop and over the bar. I really like this as a warm-up when I'm using the tower. Just really mixes up that footwork a little bit, makes it a little more dynamic. A lot of work going into controlling and resisting with these tower springs. Let's go for 3, 2, last one in. We've got one more footwork position here. We're going to bring the heels to the corners of the bar and press right out and in. So in that nice wide second position, really pushing down into those springs. Even feeling my glutes engage here on that squeeze. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Very good. So I'm going to carefully take my feet out, watching for that sling back, and you can just drop your springs back there. And we'll sit up and make some changes here. So I'm going to switch to a single red spring, and I'm going to change my tower up. I'm going to be using my push-through bar. So I'm going to take one of my short blue springs, and I'm going to take that handle off. We'll use our silver push-through bar. I'm going to attach that from the top side. I'm going to make sure my headrest is flat, and then I'm going to come to kneeling facing my tower. So let's start by grabbing that bar, reaching through so that we don't have to reach for it later. I'm going to have my left foot onto my headrest, and I'm going to have both hands onto my silver bar. So I want you to start by drawing the shoulders down the back so that your shoulders are stacked over those hips. Tucking that tail, and then you can use that shoulder block if you need it to press that ankle up against so that you have some stability. I'm going to tuck my back toes so that they're ready for my add-on later. I'm going to take a deep breath in, exhale, bend those elbows wide, and slowly release. So we exhale, pull in towards that bar, and slowly release. What you want to be careful on is that release. You're not letting the bar pull you so that your shoulders kind of round and you go forward. You're keeping those shoulders stacked and using that release as a lot of control there. Nice and slow. So let's add on here for this next one. If you have this available to you and you feel comfortable standing on the machine, you'll have those back toes tucked. You're going to stand up and pull that bar in towards your hips. We're going to come down, bending both knees just to a hover so that back knee stays lifted. Stand up, pull in towards that bar. Release just to your hover. Exhale up and in. Inhale down and hover. Again, that front shoulder block is always there if you need it for stability. Let's do one more. We'll come down to that hover and hold. In that hover, we just bend those arms in and out. Exhale, pull. Inhale, release. Shoulders are staying down. That front leg should be burning. Let's go for 3. Last 2. Last one here, extend the arms, and we'll drop that back knee down. Let's just carefully switch sides. That left knee goes back, right foot goes forward. Get that right foot nice and stable, again using the shoulder block if you need to. So let's start by drawing those shoulders down the back. Deep breath in, exhale, pull those arms in and out. Exhale, pull, inhale, release. Again, careful not to let those shoulders round and go forward with the bar. Keeping that tail tucked. Again, using that shoulder block if you need it for support. 2 more here. Last one. Now we'll add on if you feel comfortable. If not, you're welcome to stay with that knee down. So we stand up, pull that bar in, slowly release down to that hover. Exhale, pull and lift. Inhale down to that hover. Take your time. Really use the back of that right leg to help stand you up. 3 more here. 3, 2, last one, and we go to that hover. Drop the shoulders down, we just pull in and out. Keeping those shoulders back over the hips. Feel that front leg burn. You've got 3. Last 2. 1 more. Great work, everyone. Extend those arms. Drop that back knee. Carefully release yourself back to the tower. And we'll get ready to set up for some changes here. I'm going to keep my 1 rep spring. I'll just keep my push through bar where it is because I'll need it later. I'm going to take my long yellow spring here, and again, you're always welcome to use that purple, it'll just be a little heavier. I'm going to bring this one up to about hip height, so right about here. I'll go with my spring, so I'll just get those both set up. And we're going to be side lying, so I'm going to put my headrest up. If you have a pillow that you'd like, you're welcome to grab that. And then I'm going to start facing you here. So again, I'm going to bring my spring because it's just easier to get into than trying to grab it while I'm lying down. And I will lie down on that side. I'm going to take my bottom foot on the foot bar so I can take that spring and bring it onto my top foot. I'm going to scooch my bottom all the way back to the back edge of the carriage and then pull my bottom knee up. So I'm going to start with my hips stacked. Ribs are pulling up, that top hand is here for support. The top leg is going to slowly press down over that foot bar and then bend that knee back in. So just slowly pressing down and over that bar and then bend that knee up just to that tabletop position. So I'm pressing just slightly back so that my heel comes in line with my glute. And again, it's really important that I'm stabilizing from the core, pulling up and in from that side body. Now with the springs, it's really important to move slowly. If you move too fast, you're going to be bouncing all over the place. So you're really working on that control. The springs have a lot of feedback from the tower. So really learning how to control those springs is a big part of this work. We'll go for 2. And then we'll press out to hold, keeping that leg long and reaching, pulling up through that side body. That leg swings forward and pulls back. So it's a pretty small movement. Inhale forward, exhale to pull back. Using the back of that leg to pull that leg. So that glute and hamstring are working. Keeping that carriage pretty steady. Just for 3, 2. Last one, pulling back. I'm going to externally rotate so my knees and toes are pointing up towards the sky. I'm going to lift up and exhale, slowly pull down. Inhale, leg goes up, I'm trying to lengthen my side body and then use the back of the leg to pull down. Again, keeping lots of control over that spring so I don't have a ton of bouncing on that carriage. Just for 3, 2, and a last one here, pulling down. You'll bend that knee in, reach your bottom foot to something stable so you can take that strap off, and we'll just drop that back into the right. So you're gonna roll over onto the other side. Apologies that you'll be seeing the back of me here. So taking that opposite spring on that top foot, pulling your bottom knee up onto the carriage. I'm gonna take that top leg just at that hip height and we'll press straight down and line with the glute, and then nice and slow to bend back in, pressing over the bar and slowly bend. So again, pulling up and in through that side body, squeezing that glute at the back end range. Exhaling as you press, driving through the heel. Lots of control over that spring. Let's go for 3, 2. Last one, press out and hold. Keep that leg nice, long, and reaching. We swing forward, inhale. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, slowly pull back. Again, it's that glute and hamstring that are working so hard. So pull that leg. I want you to think about lengthening it every time. So pulling and pushing down into that spring to pull that leg back. Just 3 more. Last 2. Last one here, pull back. Now we externally rotate, toes to the sky. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lengthen and pull down. Again, think about pushing into the spring to pull that leg down. Feeling that glute and hamstring turning on. Keep pulling up through that side body. Can you lengthen that top hip as well? Think about reaching out to pull down through that top hip. Doesn't have to be a huge range of motion to really feel that work here. You've got 3. Last 2. Final one, pull down. Slowly bend that top knee in, reach to something solid. So you can take that top leg out and drop that spring back into the well. Let's sit up and make some changes. Okay, for this next setup, we're gonna switch to 1 blue spring or 1 light spring. That red can come off. Coming back to the tower, you're going to use your safety strap here. So you're gonna take that black strap, wrap it around your bar, and just hook it on here so that the bar doesn't fall. And then we'll take the spring off from the top, and you'll see that safety strap keeps that bar from going all the way down. I'm going to take my short blue spring, I'm going to hook it to the bottom eyelet in the back of my tower, and then hook it up to the bottom eyelet on my tower bar. So that's my setup. I've got the bottom spring, the spring on the bottom, and I've got my safety bar on, or my safety strap on. Now I'm going to take a sticky pad. I'm going to wrap that around my silver bar. And if you are sensitive at the back of the ankles, I suggest maybe having a towel underneath that sticky as well, because it might be a little uncomfortable for you. And then I'm going to put my long box on my carriage and have a seat facing the tower. So once I'm here on my box, I'm going to reach forward and I'm going to put my ankles on the back of that silver bar. So you can see I just kind of pulled myself in, and I'm going to slowly round all the way down onto my back. I'll have those legs extended to start, and this is what I mean by if you're uncomfortable with the back of the ankles, you might want a little towel or a padding underneath those ankles. So hands are behind the head. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, you're going to pull those knees in towards you, lift the chest, and come into this nice reverse ab pull with upper body crunch, and then slowly extend the legs, lowering that chest back down. So we'll exhale, pull everything into a nice tight little ball. Inhale, slowly release. So I'm keeping my knees and feet glued together, pulling those ribs in and down. You know I love that reverse ab work. This is a fun little way to add some of that in using that tower bar. You can always increase the weight to make it more challenging. You could go up to a red spring if that feels comfortable for you. Exhale, pulling in, wrapping those ribs down. Let's do 3 more. Try not to pull on the back of the neck. Let that rib cage glide towards your hip bones to lift that upper body. As you come up, you're looking right at those thighs. Last one here. And send it all the way back. Good. So I'm going to lift my left leg up this time. I'm going to start with that knee bent and rotate it over towards that left leg. And I'm going to pull in towards the bar, rotate towards that right knee, come in and rotate back to my left. So I'm just doing a nice little bicycle. One knee in, one knee out. Trying to get that full rotation to each knee as it bends. Exhaling as you pull in towards that bar. Inhaling as you release. Nice and slow and controlled. Try not to let that carriage spring pull you back here. Let's go for 3, 2. Last one, full range. Hold it here, extend that left leg up to the sky. We lower and lift that left leg. So just stay nice and stable. Crunching up and over to that left side, nice long leg. You've got 3, 2, 1, and bring that left leg down onto that bar. Coming through center, pull that right knee in. Make sure you have a good grip there. We don't want to fall off. So I'm going to start with that rotation towards my right knee. I'm going to bend that left knee, come in and rotate towards that left side. So it's that bicycle crunch again. Exhale, pull. Inhale to release. Getting that full rotation to both sides. Shoulder blade comes all the way off the box. Just 3 more here. 3, 2. Last full range. Hold it towards that right side. That right leg extends up. It lowers down and up. Down and up. That left shoulder blade is completely off your box. Chin is off the chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to lower that foot down towards my headrest. I'm going to use my hands to sit myself up, slowly release back to my dock, and then slowly let go of my bar, and there you have it. So let's just pop forward straight down into the well. I'm going to slowly release my spring first from that bar. Take that off. And I'm going to throw that back at the top, just so I have it when I'm ready for it later. And then as well do some arm work. So we'll take that roll down bar, bring it in front. I'm going to take my right hand on the center of the bar, just turning to face you first. The arm's going to be nice and long, standing hip distance apart, nice and tall. Exhale, press that arm down and slowly release. So that is pretty heavy with those short yellow springs on. I'm engaging my core, and that initiation of this movement starts from right under your armpit. You're trying to keep that arm nice and long, pressing towards your thigh. And again, controlling on the way back up so those springs aren't doing the work for you. And this is something you could do at the back of your tower as well, if you have the space for that. Let's do 2. One more, controlling to the top. Just pivot to face forward. The hands go to the outside of the hardware. Drop the shoulders down, soft bend in the knees. Exhale, press that bar down towards your thighs. Inhale, control, release. So the further you step back away from this bar, the more challenging this work will be. The closer you step towards the bar, the easier it will be. So you can kind of play around with how far you are away for how much work you want to get out of this. Again, make sure you have a nice strong core, drawing those shoulders down the back as you press. For 2. Last one, press down and hold. You're going to bend those elbows and press straight down. Inhale, bend, and exhale, press. So keeping that core drawing up and in. Keep those wrists nice and long so you're not breaking and cracking at the wrist. We have the work to come from those triceps on this one. Let's go for 3, 2. Last one, press. Slowly release that bar back up. Left hand comes to the center of the bar. You pivot to face the other direction. Draw the shoulder down the back. Exhale, press toward your thigh and release. Just move to the center there. Exhale, press and release. Again, you can move closer to make it a little less challenging. You can move further away to make it a little more challenging. Drawing the shoulder down, initiating from underneath that armpit. Let's go for 3. Last 2. And 1. Slowly release. I'm just going to bring that bar overhead as I turn to face my foot bar. The hands come to the center of the bar. I'm going to step 1 foot forward, leaning forward into that leg. Hips are square, pulling those ribs up, drawing the shoulders down. We press overhead and bend. Exhale, press and bend. So right back into those triceps. Keep those shoulders pulling down. You've got 5. Elbows stay stable. Last 3, 2, and 1. We're going to take those hands to the outside of the hardware again. Switch which leg is in front just so we're even. Draw that bar down in front of the chest here. Leaning forward into that bar, we push down and away and slowly bend. Exhale, press. Inhale, bend. So those springs should just be grazing the tops of the shoulders. Nice and controlled on the way back up. Don't let that spring pull you back. Just 2 more. Last one here. And slowly release. Let that bar come up and back over your head, placing it back where you found it. Step out of the well. I'm going to take the box off. Get that out of the way. And I'm going to put all of my springs on just to keep my carriage really still. I'm going to keep my long springs where they're at, but I'm just going to grab those and come to lie down on my back facing the tower. Because again, you know I love those reverse ab work. So I'm going to put my legs through those long moves all the way up over the knees. And again, you can always use the purple springs or the heavier springs on this one if you prefer. I'm going to scooch my bum all the way against the shoulder blocks, lie down on my back, and bring my hands behind the head. Lifting those head, neck, and shoulders, those legs press out. Exhale, pull all the way into the chest. So it's going to be an inhale out, and exhale, pull in. So again, nice and slow on the release, making sure those springs aren't doing the work for you. I've got that strong imprint in the spine, weight of the head is back in the hands, and we'll just go for 2. Pull in and hold, find a frog, those legs press out, pull in wide, inhale out, exhale, pull wide. Knees are coming towards the shoulders, feeling those obliques turn on. Just for 2, pull in and hold. So keeping those legs in, close the knees, crunch up higher, open the knees, lower down. Close, crunch up, open, lower down. Strong imprint in that spine. Really feeling those obliques turning on. Just for 3, 2, 1, and then take a little reset here. Let those legs drop down. Let the head drop back. We'll do one more thing here. Taking that deep breath in, exhale, curling up, bringing those legs to tabletop. We're just going to pull one knee in and then the other. So it doesn't have to go out too far. The action is on that pulling in, focused on that low belly. And we'll add rotation towards that knee. Pull and rotate at the same time. Just 2 more sets here. 1 each side. And go ahead and rest. Let that head drop down, legs drop down. Slowly sit yourself up. And we'll take those legs out of the springs. Those low abs should be nice and fired up by now. Dropping those springs back into your well, getting those out of the way. We're going to set up with that push through bar again. Going back to that spring from the top. So hooking that up from the top. We'll take that sticky pad off. We don't need that any longer. Let's put the headrest back up or pillow if you need it. You can do 1 blue spring here, or if you want, you can go to a high yellow, depending on how you like your arms. 1 blue spring is kind of that recommended, or 1 light spring. If you have that yellow spring, that's an extra light spring. You can always put that on the back row just to make it a little lighter than that blue if that's what you prefer. So we're gonna need that push through bar, and it's a little hard to get once you're lying down, but if you have someone to help you, that's ideal. If not, you're gonna lie down. You're gonna push that carriage all the way out, and I like to just sit up a little bit so you can grab it, and then lie down on your side. So I'm gonna have that hand right above my shoulder. I'm gonna grab onto my peg or my shoulder block with my bottom hand, draw the bottom knee up, and then reach that top leg over the bar. So now you're really holding on to that push through. Hips are stacked, you're pulling up from that bottom side. You're gonna bend that top elbow in so the elbow comes down towards the hip, and slowly release. So it's gonna be an exhale to pull, inhale, control to release. So you're just drawing that elbow down to that hip. That top leg is active and reaching. We're gonna do 1 more. Pull in and hold. Take that top leg, lift it up and down, up and down. Keep pulling up through that bottom oblique. That top arm stays pulling down. You've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold here. That top arm extends and bends 1 more time. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, slowly release. Again, really controlled on that release. so that the carriage spring isn't doing the work for you. Just 2 more here. Exhale, pull. Feeling that tricep really turning on. Last one. Extend that arm, reach towards the foot bar, grab that bar, and then we're just going to keep your top bar and roll onto your back. So you still have that push through. We're going to take the hands so that the palms are facing down towards the floor. Make sure the shoulders are a little bit away from those blocks. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, pull those legs up to tabletop. We're going to slowly bend those elbows down towards your hips and slowly release. Careful of that back stopper. Exhale, pull. Inhale, release. And if you wanted to make your spring a little heavier here, since we're using both arms, you're welcome to do that, or just stay on that blue spring. On this next one, we'll extend the arms, extend both legs. Bend the elbows, bend the legs. So we go out with everything, in with everything. Keeping that nice strong imprint in the spine. One more. Hold everything in and hold. I'm going to extend those legs up to the sky. We'll lower those legs down and up, down and up. Keep those shoulders pulling down. Strong imprint in that spine. Just for 3, 2, last one, and then take those legs down to your foot bar if you can reach. We'll roll over onto the other side right away. So I'm taking my right hand to the center of the bar, just flipping over so I don't lose my bar. Sending your bottom to the back edge of the carriage. Bottom knee is up onto that carriage. Top leg reaches over that bar. Make sure you have a good grip on your push through. And we draw that elbow in and out. Exhaling as you pull. Inhale as you release. Pulling that bottom side up and away from your carriage. One more pull in and hold. That top leg lifts up and down. Keep that top arm pulling down. Bottom oblique pulling in. For 2. 1, back to that arm, we go out. Exhale, pull in. Oh, I'm really hitting that back stopper. Too much power, I guess. I wish. Just 2 more here. Keep that top leg long and alive. 1 more. Slowly reach. Make sure you find that bar. And then you can just let that push through, go back to the top, and carefully pull your carriage in. All right. Now is the time where my clients really want to do feet and straps, but I think we're going to do feet and springs instead, so we can stick with that tower. So let's get set up for that. I'm going to switch to a single red spring. So that's just 1 medium spring. And then we'll set up our tower. I'm going to take my push through bar down. And I'm going to move my springs up to about the middle. So with feet and springs, the higher you go on your tower, the more challenging it's going to be. It's going to be a little heavier. The lower you go, it's going to be a little lighter. So whatever you feel comfortable with. And again, you can always use those purple springs if you like a little heavier. And again, I'm going to grab those springs before I lie down just to make it easier on myself. So I've got 1 red spring on my carriage. I'm going to lie down and put my feet into those loops. Finding stability there. And we're going to start in a nice frog position. So again, with those springs, you want to make sure you're really steady and we're moving at a really slow and controlled pace so we're not getting a lot of bouncing on the carriage. So deep breath in, exhale, slowly extend those legs. Inhale, control, bend the knees, stop right over the hips. So really pulling down through that core, lengthening out through those springs. And you'll find if you're moving too fast, your carriage is going to be bouncing all over the place. So make sure you're really controlling and taking your time, zipping those inner thighs as you press out, nice and slow as you bend in. Let's take this next one out and hold. We'll keep that Pilates V. We'll lift those legs up to the sky, slow, slow, slow. Exhale from that low belly, we press down towards the floor. Inhaling as you lift. And exhaling as you press and reach. Good. So you're using that low belly to press it down. Can you think about lengthening those legs instead of just pressing down? So really, really reaching through those legs. You're gonna feel the back of the legs turning on here. Maybe not quite as pleasant and enjoyable as the feet and the straps would be, but still good for you. Last one, let's press about halfway down and hold. I'm gonna turn those feet to parallel. Let's keep the carriage as still as we can here. We're gonna scissor the legs. One leg up, one leg down. So you're moving those legs at the same time so you can keep control over that carriage and keep it as still as possible. Again, thinking about lengthening through those legs, reaching every time. 3, 2, 1, come to center, hold. We crisscross, one over, one under. And this is what I love about the springs compared to the straps, is you can move the legs independently and makes it a little more dynamic. The lower you press those legs down, the more challenging it's going to be. For 3, 2, 1, bring those heels together, toes apart, just little taps of those heels. Tap, tap, feeling those inner thighs light up here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bend those knees in, 1 foot out at a time. Make sure you find that foot bar. Drop those springs back into your well. We're gonna sit up. And let's just take a quick stretch at the back on the tower here. So again, you can also do this from the back of your tower if you have access. Just be careful as you step into the well, watching those ropes. And take both hands onto that silver push-through bar, walking those feet back. Bend your knees as you push that bar forward, lengthening through that spine. So I'm pushing forward with my arms and pulling back through my hips, getting that nice length down the back of the body. Big breath in, round the spine, pull that bar towards you, and then push it overhead. Bend those knees as you push that bar up, getting that nice length. One more time, pulling that bar in, pushing down and through as those hips pull back. Deep breath in, and then exhale, pulling that bar through, pushing overhead. And then we'll stay here. You're gonna reach your right arm across to your left upright. I'm gonna push up with my left arm, pull with my right arm, and then slowly straighten my left leg. So get that nice twist. And then we'll just switch sides. Right arm up to that push through, left arm across to the opposite upright. Push and pull with those arms. Slowly straighten that right leg. And then slowly stand on up, lowering that bar. And there you have it. Fun reformer and tower class. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any more requests, comments, questions, let me know in the comments below.